take a look at the law of cosines in this video. Remember, we kind of had two versions of the law of cosines. We had the one that we used to find side lengths, and that was the one where we did the blank squared equals blank squared plus blank squared minus 2 blank blank cosine blank. And then we had the one for angles, and that's where we did the cosine inverse. And then in the numerator, it was a squared plus b squared minus c squared over 2ab. And the big thing to remember here was that C wasn't necessarily always across from angle C. C was across from the missing angle. All right. So let's take a look at B. We're going to find BC in number 56. So there's BC. Here we're looking for a side. So we're going to use our first formula. Blank squared equals blank squared plus blank squared minus 2 blank blank cosine of blank. So the cosine of interest to us is at 88. Remember, what's across from 88 is x, so x goes to the other side of the equation, and that means that 28 and 12 go in the other two blanks. So now it's just a matter of typing into the calculator. We have 28 squared plus 12 squared minus 2 times 28 times 12 times the cosine of 88 is 904.55. Now we got to go take the square root of that, and I don't know why that just popped up, but x is going to be equal to, so we need to take the square root. X is equal to 30. All right, find angle A. So here we're going to use our law of cosines, because again, if we start to circle this like we have with law of sines, we don't have another pairing that we can circle right now. That's another indicator law of cosines is appropriate. So we'll take a second. We'll use our angles formula. So we got the cosine. Maybe I'll actually do the cosine, inverse. And that means that we put 18 squared plus 25 squared minus 11 squared. Whoop, excuse me. Right, 11 is the one that's across from the angle of interest. So that's one of the reasons one of the big benefits to circling this. We can always kind of figure out what goes where. My recommendation is to do it one piece at a time. So let's do the 18 squared plus 25 squared minus 11 squared. That's 828. Now we'll do 2 times 18 times 25, which is 900. And now I will go to the calculator to do second cosine, or the cosine inverse of 828 over 900, and that gives me x equals 23 degrees. All right, so now we'll move on to solving the whole triangle. So in order to solve this triangle, we want to find all the missing pieces. So again, I think giving ourselves that list initially, angle A, angle B, angle C. We currently know angle C is 100.8 degrees. And we want side A, side B, side C. Well, we currently have side B 26.3 and side A is 22.4. So this one, if we try to circle one of our pairings initially, we don't really even have a pair to match up. What we do have an opportunity to do is we can go find the side across from the 100.8. We got one circle. We can find a side using law of cosines. So in other words, blank squared equals blank squared. Space this out a little bit. Blank squared equals blank squared plus blank squared minus 2 blank blank cosine of blank, and the angle is 100.8. X is across from it, and then we do 26.3, 22.4, 26.3, 22.4. So plug that into the calculator. 26 squared, or 26.3 squared plus 22.4 squared, minus 2 times 26.3 times 22.4 times the cosine 100.8 is 14.23. Remember, take the square root of that. So x equals 37.6. So we now have side C. So Why don't we go ahead and fill that gap in. And now it's just a matter, we got to go get angle A or angle B. I guess we'll go get angle A. Maybe I'll call that Y since I've already used X once. You can use law of sines here, but I'm going to use law of cosines for angles one more time. So I'll do it in red right here. So when we do cosine inverse, we got the plus and the minus in the top and the 2 in the denominator. Well, what's across from the angle of interest to us here is the 22.4. So that tells me 22.4 goes at the end. And then we'd put 26.3 squared, 37.6 squared, and then 26.3, 37.6. So we end up with cosine inverse. So 26.3 squared plus 37.6 squared minus 22.4 squared is 1603.69 over 2 times 26.3 times 37.6, 1977.76. Kind of separate my work for those two things, which finally means y equals, now we'll do the second cosine of 1603.69 over 1977.76, 35.8 degrees. So we now have angle A is 35.8, and if we'll simply 100.8 plus 35.8 is 136.6, and subtract that from 180, we end up with angle B is 43.4 degrees. Now, one other piece with this was doing the area. Remember, the area formula was 1/2 AB sine of angle C. And again, angle C wasn't always angle C. Angle C, I'll put it in parentheses because it can change, is the included angle. Included, again, meaning that it's the one between the two sides that you're given. So here we do 1/2 9 times 5 times the sine of 115. You can see how 115 is between those two angles. So this is literally just plug things into the right place at the right time. So the area of this triangle is 20.39. Hey, I'll clean that up just a little bit. 20.39. And then over here, got 1/2 times 21 times 42, and there 39 is the included angle. So you plug that in, and so our area here is 277.5 or 0.53.